Issue 39, Search for Natural Parents.
A. My parents separated when I was 4 years old. The divorce was very nasty, and I saw my father only a few times before he decided to move out of the state to avoid paying child support. It wasn't until I became a father myself that I had a desire to see my dad again. I then read a letter in the newspaper stating that the Salvation Army locates long-lost relatives. I saved that column, but waited for about 5 years before I wrote to the Salvation Army about looking for my father. To my great surprise, 2 months later, the Salvation Army contacted me at my home, saying that they had found my dad and that he wanted to communicate with me. I was told that he was ill, so I hurriedly caught a plane and visited him in the hospital. I spent the weekend there, and we had a very nice time catching up on the 30-year gap in our relationship. 4 days later, I received a call from the hospital informing me that my father had just passed away. In retrospect, I suppose I should feel grateful for having had the chance to see my dad before he died. But in actuality, I agonized for a long time over the fact that I hadn't tried to find him sooner. I want to urge anyone who has a desire to locate a lost relative to do it today. Tomorrow may be too late.
B. You hear so much these days about adopted adults who want to find their real mothers. I may be unusual because I've never had any desire to find mine. My mother gave me up at birth for my own good and hers. I'm grateful to her because the parents who raised me have given me a wonderful home. I believe that most adopted adults who search for their birth mothers must be unhappy with their lives. I feel sorry for parents who have adopted children and given them a good home only to have them go looking for their real mothers. I would never do that. So to all you adopted people, appreciate your good fortune and don't go poking around trying to find your real mother. The one you have couldn't be any more real.
Comprehension. A. 1. When did the man's parents divorce? 2. Why did his father move out of the state? 3. When did the man get a desire to see his father? 4. Can you imagine why he waited another 5 years before he actually wrote the letter to the Salvation Army about locating his father? Why do you think? 5. How long did it take for the Salvation Army to find his father? 6. Did he and his father have an argument? How did they spend their time together? 7. When did his father die? 8. Why should the man feel grateful? 9. Why was he also in agony?
B. 1. Why does the writer think he is unusual? 2. Why is he grateful for his natural mother? 3. Does he believe that adopted adults should search for their natural parents? Explain your answer.
Let's talk. 1. Do you think it is natural for adopted adults to want to find their natural parents? 2. If you were an adopted adult, would you search for your natural parents? 3. If you had adopted children who wanted to get in touch with their natural parents, what would you tell them? 4. Do you think people are usually upset if their adopted children want to search for their natural parents? 5. Do you think adoption records should remain sealed unless the birth parents and the adopted children alike agree to opening them? 6. What are the reasons some people give up their babies for adoption? 7. Do you think any reasons are acceptable? Defend your answer.
Opinion samples. 1. Many adopted adults desperately want to know about their roots, regardless of how wonderful their adoptive parents are. That is, after all, human instinct. If you were not interested in knowing about your natural mother, that might be okay for you, but remember, your real mother misses you a lot. Question: do you think you would want to meet your birth parents if you were adopted?
2. Many adopted adults have no desire to find their birth parents, so they are not really unusual. But they are lucky not to worry about their own identity. And some birth mothers prefer not to be found, as is their right, due to shame or indifference. Question: why do some adopted adults have no desire to see their natural parents? Issue 39. Search for natural parents.
I wish I knew my parents.
What do you mean? I've met your parents.
No, they're not my real parents. I was found beside the road wrapped in a blanket. There was no note or anything, and I was taken to an orphanage. I was only a few days old.
How long were you there?
Only a few months. Then I was taken home by my new parents, the ones you know.
I always thought they did a real good job raising you.
Me too. I could not have chosen anyone better. They're the only parents I've ever known, and I love them very much.
When did you find out?
I never did find out. I always knew. It was never a secret.
So why do you want to know your real parents? It seems to me that your adoptive ones should be enough.
Oh, it doesn't have anything to do with the ones who raised me. My relationship with them won't change. To all intents and purposes, I'm their daughter. But I have a lot of questions.
Such as?
Well, such as, for instance, do I have some sort of hereditary medical problem I should know about? That would be very helpful information.
Yes, I'm sure it would. But you're a healthy woman. If something's wrong with you, it doesn't seem to have damaged you very much.
No, but I wouldn't want to pass something terrible on to my children if I could prevent it, you know.
Still, chances are remote.
Yes, but there are other questions as well. I'd like to know if I have any brothers or sisters. And I want to find out why I was abandoned.
I'm sure it was nothing personal. Probably an economic decision more than anything else.
Or maybe social stigma. I don't really care why. I just want to know what the reason was. And to be able to tell them that I forgive them. And that maybe they did the right thing after all. That everything worked out all right for me. I had a wonderful upbringing. Then maybe they'll feel better about their decision as well.
That's very generous of you.
I've thought about it a long time. I even tried to contact them. The police and the orphanage staff didn't know any more about me than I did. I even tried an appeal on television. I got a few responses, but the details just weren't right. Either the respondents were frauds, or they had some tragedy separate from my own.
That's too bad.
Yes, well, I haven't given up yet. Who knows? Maybe one day all of my questions will be answered, and I'll have 2 sets of great parents instead of just one.
Best of luck to you. But remember, even if you don't find your real parents, or if you do find them and they aren't what you expect, either way, there are lots of other people in your life who love you.
I know. I'm very lucky, I guess.
Questions. 1. Why does she want to find her real parents? Give at least 4 reasons. 2. How old was she when she was adopted? 3. How does she know so much about her early circumstances?